Hey, what's up everybody, this is Classic Tycoon here, and we're back for another Planet Coaster Career Mode episode. Today we're going to be doing the Great Tree. We're starting out in the Easy Career Mode section, I guess, and this is the first level of that. So, let's jump in today and see what we got going on with this one.
Oh, what a beautiful location, wouldn't you agree? All this nature has a wonderful calming effect on the spirit.
Absolutely. It's such a pity that you'll have to level most of it to build more rides.
Well, let's not be too hasty. Surely there's a way of working hand in hand with the natural environment.
Perhaps with the right pieces of scenery. It won't be easy, though.
I hardly think that matters, Eugene. After all, it's not us having to do it.
Alright, so as you can see, we've got this weird looking tree in the middle. We've got one ride going here, the Magic Twirl. And then just a lot of paths that are split off here. The thing I don't like about this park, as you can see, is we've got this entrance over here. And then these guys have to walk all the way over to the park, and that can cause some problems later. But we do have to get a monthly profit going, so what I'm going to do is increase the park ticket price, and we're gonna learn what that really does later on in this video, as you'll see. But this is a great park for more of a learning experience than the other ones. So far they've been so easy, I feel like I haven't really learned much about the game. But today, I wouldn't say that the park was necessarily hard. It took me about 2 hours to complete. And, I mean, there was a couple of roadblocks that we hit. So, I am going to be doing some speeding up through here. You can see a lot of the challenge of this one is with scenery ratings. So our first achievement is to achieve a scenery rating of 110. These are pretty arbitrary measurements. I'm not sure exactly how they get this number of 110, but it is what it is. So we're gonna start by doing that, and then each achievement star has a different number set for the scenery rating. So this one's really a scenery focused challenge, but you can also see that part of the medium challenge is to build a roller coaster with a few ratings that are on there, and that won't be too difficult to do, but it will allow you guys to see me build another coaster today, which I'm excited to do. I think the coaster turns out pretty well in this episode. But as you can see, I'm just kind of throwing together some fairy tale style scenery here. I make kind of this wooded area with a little witch and stuff. And, you know, this definitely did help me to experiment a little bit more with the scenery. When the game forces you to build scenery, I didn't want to just throw a bunch of trees out there. I wanted it to actually flow and look decent. So we're going to be doing a lot of scenery building today, but that's going to be more, you know, you can see I'm speeding the video up. So this is going to be a lot of time lapse and stuff of what happened with the scenery in this video. All right. So right here, I was going to build a different ride, one of these, but then I decide, you know, maybe my money would be better spent on just getting the roller coaster over with and going with that. So, you know, we've got all this open space here. We'll fill that in a minute. I don't quite have the finances, but I do have this $10,000 optional loan. So I'm going to actually just take out the loan. We're going to set the monthly repayment as low as it can go. That way we won't be getting a bunch of money taken out of our account throughout the month, or through each month. But yeah, then we're gonna use that money to build a roller coaster. And see, I do put a couple of ponds in the game here, and I like the way that the water works in this game quite a bit. This waterfall is kind of going to nothing, so that's why I put a it still doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. Yeah, I thought it looked okay. Better than nothing, I guess. Alright, so let's choose the coaster that we're going to design. We've got 3 choices, and we got the Canyon Runner, which was kind of a runaway mine train type. We've got the Gnarler, which is actually a wooden coaster. And then you can see we had that wooden Wild Mouse style. So we're going to go with the wooden roller coaster. One thing I don't like about this game is the way they name the coasters, like the Gnarler. How am I supposed to know without reading the description what that is? Like, I'm going to forget, and until I like play this game a lot, I'm going to be forgetting, you know, what is a Gnarler. That's kind of a weird name. I don't really like that too much, but it's a wooden roller coaster, so this is our first Woody. I'm excited to build this one and see what it's like to, you know, compare it to Roller Coaster Tycoon. So just like all my other roller coaster builds, this is sped up, but it's only in 2 times speed, so it won't be too fast. You can't really tell what I'm doing, but it also won't be so slow that, you know, it's painful to see every single decision that I make. I'll keep talking about the roller coaster design aspect of this game. I think it's, you know, it's fantastic. I thought they did an amazing job. I love here, you can see I adjust the length of each piece of track so that it fits exactly how I want it. And I just think that is such a cool feature to me. I mean, I can't sing the praises enough of this game's roller coaster building system. I just think it's really, really good. Really good. I really enjoy building roller coasters in this game. Now, here we reach our first limitation that I've seen, where I can't really build this piece of roller coaster next to this this pizza place, and that was kind of weird to me. So far, you know, the roller coasters seem to have a lot of freedom as far as the space goes. I mean, look how close I can build this roller coaster to the station platform right there. So I don't know why the game wouldn't let me place that piece of track next to the pizza shop. You know, who knows? That was kind of weird to me. So maybe the like shops and stalls have larger hitboxes than pieces of track do. I'm sure the game figures you're going to be trying to build closer to track a lot more often than you are to buildings. But that's one thing that I just thought was a little bit disappointing, that I couldn't build that piece of track right next to the pizza stall. I mean, that's something that you see all the time in real theme parks, right? The roller coasters will, I mean, maybe not all the time, but sometimes the roller coasters will be, you know, right next to a stall or something like that. You get to see the people having fun while you're buying yourself a slice of pizza or whatever. But right here, this is a part of the roller coaster that I really like, right? You can see I'm really trying to kind of push the limits of how close I can build all these pieces of track together, and this thing is really weaving together. Like, I'll have to play with it even more, but yeah, this comes together really nicely over in this area, and we're getting close to the end of the track, so we'll finish up this coaster in just a couple seconds here. I've harped on this a couple of times, but the scale of the roller coasters, like, they feel a lot bigger as you're building them than when they finish up. And what I mean by that is, like, when I finish up this roller coaster, it feels like I've built for a long time, and I've built like this really grand, large roller coaster. And as you can see, I do have a little bit of trouble finishing this coaster up. It took me a little bit of time to get the actual block bricks to work and the autocomplete section, but we do end up getting it figured out here just by playing with the track a little. Anyways, this thing is ready to build. Or ready to test. But what I was saying again, like, this looks like a very large roller coaster to me, at least at first. You know, it's got a very high hill lift here, and but as I'm building it, like I said, once I'm done, I feel like I've built this really large roller coaster, and then I let it go, and it's like, oh, this actually is a relatively small coaster. So it's got like this big first drop. But obviously the scale of this game is just much more realistic than Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? So this coaster in real life probably wouldn't be super large. And I also, you know, it's going pretty fast through all this. I just love the smoothness of that. That's looking really good. Anyways, you can see it is going fast. I probably could have done with a couple more hills, but I also was running out of money right there, as you can see. So that is what it is. The roller coaster's done. It's got some decent ratings. I wouldn't say that that was that great of ratings, but we'll see if maybe later if adding some scenery. I think scenery affects the rides in this game a lot more than it does in Roller Coaster Tycoon. One thing that happened here, as you can see, is there's litter all over the park. I totally forgot to hire these janitors, and I forgot to build any bins for trash. So one thing that happens here is guests aren't really willing to pay for the rides because they're so unhappy, which I think is an interesting dynamic. Like, and that it makes sense. Like, you're unhappy with the park, so it's like, oh, you're going to complain about the prices of the rides. And that becomes a problem in a moment. And I didn't realize it at first, that the guests didn't want to pay for the rides because of their happiness levels. And it does become a little bit of a problem. But one thing that is kind of a problem with that is, and you can see how, look at how much money I'm hemorrhaging right here, like negative $380 per month. This is where I started really running into some problems, and I was actually a bit confused on why I wasn't making money, and none of these guests were riding this roller coaster, and I started to panic and just really drop the prices. But I didn't realize that guests were so unhappy about like litter and stuff that they didn't want to go on the roller coaster either. At the same time, they are complaining as well that they had to pay for the park entry as well as rides. You can see these guests run up to the roller coaster and then they just turn around and turn away. So I dropped the price pretty dramatically, only $6 to ride this roller coaster, which that's gonna hit pretty hard, and it's gonna make it very difficult to make money. So my suggestion, if I was to do this over again, is I wouldn't charge probably for the park entrance, which is kind of a bummer. I would like that option to be viable, but everything that I see, and we'll see more problems with the park entrance fee later on in this episode, but so far I haven't seen any benefit to having guests pay for the park, other than you get a quick revenue right away. But you'll see some major problems that happen later on in this video. But yeah, as you can see, no guests are wanting to ride my rides, including the other gentle ride that we have there. So we only have these 2 rides, and we need them to make money so we can actually, build scenery and complete these projects. So just taking a look at our finances here, like I said, we're kind of hemorrhaging money, and our ride tickets, we're barely making more. In the past month, we made $134 in ride tickets, and we lost $420, and so we're just hemorrhaging money there. And then our park entrance, we're making money, but it's just not enough. So I decided to throw on a marketing campaign and see if we can get some people coming into the park. This is one of those, you got to spend money to make money, right? Or at least so I think. So I throw that on, hoping that it'll generate some adults coming in that want to ride my roller coaster. And at the same time, I increase the price of adult tickets. And right here you can see my money in the bottom. If you've been paying attention to it, I was almost negative. Then right here, my money starts going up. I'm thinking that everything is working. I'm going to build these teacups, get the teacups going, get some more money in the park. And it costs $900 to build the teacups, and I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for that $900 point. And I speed up the game, and I want to get to that $900 point, and I got up to like 880 at one point, and you can see it's just not happening. So I was getting pretty frustrated at this point. I was trying to figure out what is going on. Why am I not making any money? So we'll go check it out again. Ride tickets. We made a little bit on it in the previous month, but not enough. Our guest happiness, 81%. That's pretty decent. I don't think there's too much to complain about. If you go through, though, you can see now the guests are thinking this park is a bargain, entry is cheap, and Magic Roll 20 has cheap tickets. So now that the guests are starting to lighten up a little bit on the happiness of the park, I'm going to bump up that ticket price. You can see I bumped up the ticket price of the roller coaster from $6 to $10, and guests are flooding in. So something about the happiness of the guests is one thing I think that affected the tickets. So I'm going to try bumping up the ticket price of that gentle ride as well and see if that works. And you can see the guests are starting to go in there now. And as I speed it up, my money does start to flow in a bit better now. We've now made enough money to get those teacups built. So I'm thinking, the teacups are going to be built and they're going to help me to start generating even more revenue. They'll attract people to the park. We do have about 500 guests in the park at this time. And we'll just have a nice cheap ride there in the teacups. And then we'll also build this hyper spin right here. And that starts filling up with guests. And you can see my money has shot up now to a little over $3,000. We're really close to that monthly profit of $3,000. And there we go. We've achieved our first objective.
Work. The way you've managed to combine the aesthetically pleasing with the highly profitable is to be commended. That latter part mostly by Cynthia, I expect.
It may be time to think about building a roller coaster. Something exciting, but not too nausea-inducing. Although, obviously, some nausea is fine. I mean, we have to give the janitors something to do.
So right there, they challenged me to build the roller coaster, but really all I need to do, I've already got the coaster built and it met all the requirements of the EFN, excitement, fear, and nausea. And so now I'm just going to start filling the park with some more scenery So we can get from that 126 rating that I had on my scenery up to a 130, and that will complete the medium goal. So I just started throwing in some trees here for the most part, but as you can see, there is a lot of ugly empty space, and I do want this kind of fairy tale theme throughout the park.
Oh yes, very good. You've managed to keep your coaster well within the desired specifications, vis-a-vis the thrills and spills. The thrills being the excitement, and the spills being, well, you can probably work that out.
And so after building this little piece of castle right here, I do achieve that second goal. And so our final goal here is to get this scenery rating up to 160 and to achieve a park rating of 750. So my park rating right here is 430. Again, I'm just speeding through this scenery, and I'll show you kind of the difference in the scenery from the beginning to where I end up at the end. I'll show you it, and it's a pretty stark contrast. So, this game does do a better job of maybe not teaching you how to make scenery look good, but forcing you to do that yourself. So if you've ever wanted your parks to look better, I do recommend getting this game. It'll help you to, at least think about it. You could go through and just throw in a bunch of bushes in random spots, probably, and it would work. But using pieces like this, I'm trying to find good spots where I can incorporate this fairy tale theme and have it not look, just completely out of place. Here's one of my favorite ideas that I had in the park. I've got this like mini tree right here, and I end up just making bushes all the way around the teacups here, and they're like little flower bushes, and I think that it looks pretty decent. I don't think that it like really improved the scenery in my park rating, but I end up really liking the way it looks. I'm probably gonna do this design again sometime. And just to mix it up, I'll like flip the bushes 90 degrees or whatever, just so that it's not the same angle on every single bush. And there you go. There's a little design that you can do around some of your gentle rides. That's not like super complicated or anything, but I think it looks pretty decent. And here I'm still, still struggling to get this 160. Apparently a 160 rating is pretty high as far as I can tell, because I am just going to town with a lot of these decorations. So I like this castle right here. I'll throw that in, and then of course this castle's going to need some large bushes around it, so I even just use some trees and like use the treetops as bushes. We're just throwing bushes and rocks and trees and everything that we can, while also using some of that special themed scenery to help fill in the park. Now, one thing I do want you guys to watch as we continue just filling in the park with scenery is my money in the bottom left. So far it's been pretty steady. I've been spending a lot on the scenery. Obviously, I'm just building lots of different things. But money does end up becoming an issue again, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But I do end up, at this point, our park rating is a 588, so it jumped up from that 430 just by using the scenery, but I want to get some rides in there. I think that would help to bring up that park rating. But my money is starting to to really hemorrhage again. And we're only halfway through paying our loan. And the loan is pretty expensive, so I think it's a little bit more of a hard hit than it is in Roller Coaster Tycoon as far as taking out loans goes. So I would avoid that as much as you can in this game, actually. Shops and stalls are doing okay. But if you look at my tickets, like, I lost money in the previous month on park entrance tickets. And I had no idea what was going on with that. I lost $57.50 for July in park entrance tickets. And the month before that, I made $437, and I didn't understand what was going on. But one thing that I realized that's pretty important is if guests are unhappy for any reason when they leave your park, they can ask for a refund. And it doesn't matter like how long they've been there or anything, at least as far as I can tell. And on the way out of the park, these guests, they start walking through this long pathway, especially at this park. It's this long walk to get to the end or to the entrance. When they get there, they demand a refund. And then look at this, park entrance ticket sales, minus $589. So like every guest that's leaving is demanding a refund at this park. And I don't know why, honestly. Like, my guest happiness is decent, but it just seems like at the end of when they leave, they're just asking for their money back, and I don't know how to fix that. So what I end up doing is just zeroing out the park entrance ticket at that point, and then let's raise up all those ride tickets and try to make money just off of my rides. And I figure at this point, the guests that are in the park right now, they've all paid to get in. And I'm just assuming I'm going to have to refund all of them their park entrance tickets, which is only like $5 for adults or whatever. But man, you can see that really added up every month, every single month. I lost money on park entrance sales, which is, I don't know. If you guys know why that's happening to me, just let me know. I do look at some of the guests here and their thoughts to see, like, why am I refunding them? This guest's thoughts, I'm having a great time. There's good and bad things. They didn't seem to have a problem. And then these guys, that litter is disgusting. And so there is some litter problem that people seem to be having with my park. So I go through right here and I just checked everywhere to see, like, what are they complaining about? Where is the litter? So I think another problem was right there. Just this one little strip. And it's right next to a garbage can, of course. But this one little strip has all this trash on it. And that's how the guests have to get out of the park. So all these guests are starting to leave. And as they leave, they walk over all this trash. And then that drops their happiness rating. I'm wondering if that's why they're asking for a refund. I still think that that's pretty ridiculous. I'm having to refund every single guest. But this is why I'm just not even going to try again to do a park entrance fee. I'm just going to stick with the rides. Alright, so I had a janitor take care of that. Now we're going to finish up the park, throw in a couple more rides, throw in a little bit more scenery, get that park rating up above a 750. You can see right now it's just past a 706. Just by building that ride, it went up over 700. So we'll throw in some scenery on this guy. Now our scenery rating is a 159 over 160. So not much left to do there. I honestly think that building another ride just might do it. Yeah, definitely less dense in rides, right, than Roller Coaster Tycoon. I feel like I can build just ride after ride after ride in Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is 2 hours of a park, and I've only got like 6 or 7 rides or something like that. If that. So we'll throw in this nice big swinging ship right here. See, I get one more look at what my guests are thinking as they're leaving the park there to see if they would refund. But throw in this swinging ship right here, and things should wrap up. And there we go.
You have not disappointed me, my friend. The way you've made the park blend into the natural surroundings is nothing short of breathtaking. Why, you'd hardly know there was a park here at all.
No kidding. I only just found this place.
This is awkward. We're actually just about to move on to our next project, Lucy.
Aw, man. Give me a heads up next time, will ya?
All right, and they're not lying. Like, this park does look way better than it did at the beginning. Here is what the park starts out as. See, it's just this barren, empty area. And I definitely could have just thrown in some rides and just left it all barren like that and open. But here's what it ends up looking like. We've got all these rides in here. You know, we decided to throw in some scenery. I think trees helped tremendously. I think trees helped so much, even in Roller Coaster Tycoon, just to make things look so much better. But yeah, there it is, guys. We finally finished this challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for the next one. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you'd like to support the channel more, consider becoming a member. It's just a small donation monthly that goes to my channel, and it would help me to make much better and more regular content in the future. Again, thanks for all the support. See you guys next time.